live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wolf's Den here. So, we're going to do a bit of a two-parter this evening. I will be doing some gameplay later on, but I wanted to go through because I'd seen a lot of questions on Reddit and some on the Enlisted forums about the premium squads that are available for Enlisted, and I own some of them. I don't own all of them, obviously, although there is a way I can preview them and kind of give a little bit of my feedback, but that's going to be more of an overview of how I feel because not using them in combat, it would be a little bit, I don't know, unrealistic of me to give my assessment. Uh, and I'd rather be truthful about what's worked with me and what hasn't with a squad versus what I feel and think versus actual gameplay. So, we're going to get started. The first squad we're going to be dealing with is in the Berlin campaign, and it's these guys right here, the first Volkssturm company. And Volkssturm is just German for People Storm. It was, a propaganda thing to make it sound more vicious than it actually was, and in reality, it was more anyone and everyone with a rifle in those desperate times. So we're going to just flip to, because I want to go through all these squads without having to go do 20 minutes of gameplay for each. We're going to flip and go into practice so you can get an idea of what the weapons handle like, what the gear is that they are equipped with, and I can kind of go through all my thoughts and processes. First time really doing something like this, I did do a machine gun review on the ZK 383 in Normandy for a person on the forums, but this is going to be going through all the squads that I have available, and one of those, hey, if you got a couple of bucks to spend and you want to get yourself a premium squad, which one is going to work? So, without further ado, here we go, and my stammering and yammering aside, this company here, they are equipped with a French bolt-action rifle, of all things, and it's one of the first to use the smokeless powder. It's a really interesting gun in this game because of its hitting power. It goes without saying, this thing hits like a, well, we used to say up here, a brick shit house. At 17.8 at 10 meters, this thing will drop just about anyone in one shot, which makes it very, very valuable and very cool in a close quarter situation. It has a significantly high rate of fire, and that's part and parcel from the rifle combined with the perks of the soldier. These come with a 10-round magazine, which is great considering a lot of the bolt-action rifles in this game vary between 5 and 6 rounds. There are a couple of the British guns that use 10 rounds, so it's fed 2 stripper clips. But, for a bolt action to have a 10-round magazine, that's a significant advantage because you get more ammunition before you have to reload. Now, you'll see I have made some modifications. If you are to purchase this squad, they come with a large backpack, and you get 1 det pack, explosion pack. I call it a det pack. I know it's an explosion pack. And they come with 3 med kits. That's cool for some people, but for me personally speaking, my soldiers die often and regularly, so the biggest thing for me is, 1 med kit, okay, in case I get down, but I'd rather give my guys a little bit more of a glass cannon stature, so I'll load them up with multiple either det packs or smoke grenades or the M24 hand grenades. Now onto the perks for these guys. You'll see you'll get them with 4 stars. I used bronze orders to unlock the 5th star so that way I could get 1 more perk. But the one thing that really makes these guys stand out, especially using a bolt action rifle, is this little perk right here. That 12% firing rate increase is a huge difference, and I can show you as well later on in this video what it looks like when you're doing that with a Mannlicher M1895 in Normandy. That thing is just shy of a semi-automatic rifle for a bolt action, and it's pretty fantastic. So let's get these guys to the practice range so you can see how they perform, and I can kind of give my thoughts. just like anything else, every squad's going to have a strength and a weakness. So I'm going to try and go through everything that I can. Um, I'm never going to pretend to be an authority or the be all and end all for, you know, what I think is valuable and what I think is not. Everyone's got an opinion in this world. So at best, I'm going to give you guys mine and you can decide, if that, works for you. So, a rarity for a premium squad is this infantry squad comes with a full complement of 9 troopers, and that makes a huge difference on the battlefield because with 9 troopers, it's kind of like having 9 lives, so to speak, where you get one killed and you got a whole bunch more to go back to, where the vast majority of premium squads is 4 troopers, and that can be a little bit of a downfall because you have to be a little bit more cautious with them. And I don't like that, at least not my playstyle. I am a run and gun. I will assault a point whenever possible. So, anyways, regardless of that, so here we go. This is the Lebel Rifle, and with its high rate of fire, you'll see it's a quick cycle rate on the bolt. It is nice and accurate at long range. Now, I say long range, that's more like medium range, but in terms of engagements that you're going to face in Berlin, that's long enough range. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying, but that person's dead. That person's dead multiple times over. So, that is all said and done good for the gun. It is accurate at range. And like I said, it hits, I believe at 200 meters, this thing still hits for over 10 damage, which, unless you have a vitality perk on your soldier, that's enough to down someone. So I know Berlin, you're going to be facing lots of submachine gun fire, machine gun fire, semi-automatic rifle fire, but the bolt action gun is still a viable weapon, in my opinion, for that campaign, because you still are going to have points on maps where you have open fields of fire and you can take down the opposing force before they get close enough to matter. Especially if you think of the Kroll Opera House and the bridge. You position your squad correctly, and even if you have an engineer get you some sandbag bunkers, you can hold that bridge. Absolutely. You can snipe them from across the way and across the river because of the hit power of this rifle and its accuracy. Now, the one thing that was happening while I was talking, which, I should have waited, but I didn't. I'm going to just empty the mag here for a sec. So the 10 rounds, as you can see, beautiful. Gives you lots of ammunition. Now, the one thing that will get you killed if you're not ready for it, though, is unlike, and I'm just holding off this last round here, unlike other weapons that are fed stripper clips, which makes the reload, faster. It's not super fast. It's not like reloading a magazine, but this gun does not use that. So watch what happens when I empty that last round. This has gotten me killed I don't know how many times. You can interrupt the reloading cycle, but you'll notice that is a long time to put 10 bullets in a gun because it doesn't use stripper clips. So if you can accept that and work around that, this squad, it might be something for you. You get a fast-firing bolt-action rifle that hits like a truck, is accurate at range, and of course it comes equipped with that one last little special thing. It does have a bayonet. So, and a bayonet in close combat sometimes can save your life. Definitely beats hitting them with the butt end of the rifle or having to switch to your combat knife. So, that is this squad from Berlin. In my personal opinion, I run with them regularly. I'm just going to exit out of here for a sec. I hope they add crossplay, Tony. One day. One day. Alright, so you'll see this is my regular standard. I call it a drop deck. That's from another game, from Mech Warrior. But these are the guys that I run with, and you'll see that that squad is right there in the forefront because I have yet to find a map or a situation when having 9 troopers with fast-firing bolt-action rifles doesn't do it for me and doesn't help me. So, we're going to flip campaigns now. Bottom line for these guys is, if you have the money, buy them. They're worth it. If you can work a bolt action rifle good in the game, these guys, you can make them shine 100%. So we're going to flip, because unfortunately in Berlin, as I said, I don't have all of the squads unlocked. You know, I've only got so much money in the world, so I can't be buying up all the premiums, but I might give these guys an overview later on, but I figured I'd want to work through the troopers that I do have. So we're going to flip campaigns to Moscow. Moscow, we got a couple of options, which is nice, and a couple of them that I own. So we're going to start with another squad here, and this squad has, like that one, a rarity. It has 9 troopers, and I can't state this enough, but it's 9 lives as far as I'm concerned when you bring these guys into battle. The weapon they have is the Mauser variation of the Gewehr 41. Again, this is a very powerful rifle. Look at the hit power there. At 10 meters, 14.4, you are taking someone out. They're going to die to a round, and I think that's what makes this gun so much fun to use, is you can get in some interesting situations in Moscow where, you know, even at 100 meters, no vitality perk, you have 10 hit points. 100 meters, that's a good combat engagement range in Moscow. You're dead with a bullet. And this, like the previous Lebel Rifle, has a 10-round magazine. Again, the troopers are going to come equipped with certain items, and I have swapped that all out. All of them I give the small ammo pouch to, so that way it increases the rounds that I carry in battle. And of course, just like anything else, they all have a det pack. So let's get these guys to the training round here. Now that's not my typical Moscow drop deck, but I had to switch them all over so that way I was ready to do this video. So we're going to hop into practice. And I should have talked about it with the Lebel team, but I did enjoy the sight picture on the rifle. That can make or break you. There are some guns where the gun might be fantastic, but the sighting on it is realistic, but is very hard to use, especially in a combat situation where, you know, seconds matter and split-second reactions matter. So, you know, if you are comfortable with the sight picture, then the gun will shine for you. And this one is one of those guns that I absolutely love. Of course, it's a little bit sunny, but if you look at that focus, that's a beautiful sight as far as I'm concerned, and I'm very, very comfortable with using it. So, on to the gun. This is a semi-automatic, not a bolt action like the Lebel, so you can crank the rounds out as fast as you can pull the trigger, although I don't recommend it because it's just like anything else. It's going to kick, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult to control that way. But if you have a little patience, you'll see it returns to neutral 9 times out of 10. And when I say neutral, meaning the point that you were originally aiming at. Now, I'm going to leave that last round in the chamber for a second, just so that way I can go over the reload animation afterwards. Because that does matter. But if you look at that grouping, you know, other than one little slight deviation where I shot the guy in his belly instead of his chest, that guy's dead. That guy's dead 9 times over. So, now, reloading, this one has one advantage over the previously seen Lebel Rifle. When you fire that last round in the chamber, you'll see, and that's a fast reload in terms of, you know, using something that is non-magazine fed. So the 2 stripper clips there make it very, very, very quick to get those 10 rounds in, and you can do a fairly quick combat reload by, you know, what I tend to do a lot of the times is if I'm in a shooting scenario and I fire off my rounds, you either go prone, right, or you just duck around a corner for a second, hope to God you can get those bullets in before they come back around to get you. So this squad here, 100%, you know, anyone, if you're looking for it, it's not often I'll give something a 100% recommendation and say, yeah, if you want a premium squad, this is the one to get. But this is going to be one of those squads. You have 9 troopers with semi-automatic rifles firing very, very quickly with a fast reload. There's not much more you can ask for, and this thing hits hard. So you want to take out troopers quickly, this is the gun to do it. And again, like I said, it is, you know, you just got to be patient with it. Let the gun return to neutral. It is hard to say that when you're in a combat scenario, but look at that. Nice dead center. And you've got another dead trooper. Yeah, look at that. Much better. I let the gun return to neutral, and this person is dead. Now, of course, the one nice thing about having a semi-automatic gun is you can get in those panic fire scenarios. And if you are, you can unload in a hurry. So, yep. I'm just going to add this squad as one of those squads that I'm going to say, if you want to take it, and you want to get a good premium squad to run with, this should be top of your list, especially if you're playing Moscow. So, let's switch it out. Luckily, I can just do that instead. And we're going to go to my favorite MG team. These guys here run the MG30. It is a light machine gun. Now, you'll see here right away, I've only got 4 troopers. So, those 4 troopers make this squad a little bit more challenging, and it is balancing in a sense. You don't want to have a full kitted out squad of 9 machine gunners. There would be no point in then using the ones that you can unlock for free, and it would become very much pay to win. So I can understand why they've done it this way. It would be nice if they allowed us to add additional troopers in the future, but you know, that's neither here nor there right now. So, you really don't want to be firing this gun from a standing position. It definitely loves to kick up into the vertical. And that's typical of most light machine guns, and this one is no exception to that rule. However, the one thing I absolutely love about using this is from the prone position. Nice and controllable. You know, with just a little bit of controller tweaking, you can keep those bullets right on target, and you're guaranteed kills. Like, look at that. That's just a thing. There's no denying that. I know that's a bit on the close range side, but for a, you know, light machine gun, basically holding down the trigger full auto, it's beautiful. You are limited, like I said, by having only 4 troopers to use. But if you're in a jam and you want to bring some automatic firepower to the table in Moscow, these guys are definitely worth considering. I enjoy using them. I don't run them every single time. I tend to vary between my keeping only 1 premium squad in my little drop decks. But there are occasions where I decide, you know what, I feel like having a little bit more automatic firepower. So these guys tend to come along for the ride. If I had to give it a rating, I'd say, you know, take the Gewehr team first over these guys. But if you're a collector or you want to add a different look or a different feel with the squad, they're definitely worth considering. Not a top tier pick for me, but I would like to say a close second. So, last squad on the docket. My good old engineers. All right. Once again, only 4 troopers, and all 4 of them are engineers. So that is vital to me. I love having a full squad worth of engineers, although it does suck I don't have additional troopers along the way to act as sort of cannon fodder. But regardless, engineers, as I've said in my other gameplay videos, are the make or break in this game. You can win or lose matches with them, and these guys come with some of the neat little perks. I'll actually do it before I start shooting. The build speed, so you don't have to worry about rolling for it when you're leveling up your engineers or going through your perks. These guys here, with 50% build speed already as an unlocked perk for all 4 of them. Like, look at that. That's just a thing of beauty to set up a rally point so quickly. Now, they use a variation of the Mosin-Nagant rifle, which is a very, very decent rifle. One with, again, a decent sight picture. I'm not 100% sold on it, but I like it. They do have the rate of fire perk. And you see that? Just a quick reload and back at it. If you're in a pinch and you want a pure engineering squad to bring in, these guys, again, are worth a look. The bolt action rifle that they have hits hard, is decently accurate, and I found, personally speaking, it to be, you know, in a pinch in a quick reaction situation, I find that I can sight it fairly well. And yeah, just with that rate of fire buff on this gun, yeah. That's one of the few perks you'll see me where I will actually swap it around until I get it. But that rate of fire for bolt action can make or break some engagements. Alright, so let's get out of these guys here. We're going to exit the battle and move on to the next campaign. So that was Moscow, and the next one up is going to be Normandy. I've only got 2 available for Normandy right now, so we will bring them in so I can give a little bit of an insight into these guys here. And then after I'm done that, I'm going to get on to some combat and do a little bit of fragging. Now, first squad up is a light machine gun squad. Again, 4 troopers, and not going to lie, absolutely did it for the camo alone. It just looks so cool. They use a Polish variation of the Browning light machine gun, or otherwise, well, Browning automatic rifle, otherwise known as the BAR, and arguably it's the best version of it. Comes with a 20-round magazine, and that 20-round magazine, although it doesn't sound like a lot for a light machine gun, is more than sufficient for you to hold a corridor if needed. From a half-prone position, the recoil is somewhat controllable. It's better off, you're better off kind of doing bursts and then letting the gun rest back at neutral before you engage again. You'll notice though the reload is very fast. So, although you only have 20 rounds, the fact that you can swap through the magazine so quickly makes it a very, very decent gun for putting a lot of lead down a corridor. Now, in the prone position, again, like most light machine guns, it should shine, but you still have to control the fire, because you'll notice that on the vertical, the recoil is a little bit crazy. So, if you can control your fire and just do it in bursts, you should be able to take targets down without much effort. It is a powerful round that this gun uses, and with its, decent rate of fire, you should be able to hold your own. Is it a top pick for Normandy? Well, it's hard for me to say. I don't like having, in Normandy especially that campaign, such a small squad, but I have used them consistently throughout the campaign ever since I acquired them, and they seem to do a good enough job. So I'm going to give it a 50-50. If you're looking for a machine gun squad and you want something a little bit different than the consistent MG34 and MG42, they might be worth a look. But personally speaking, there's other campaigns and other squads that you might want to consider spending your money on instead of these guys. So we'll swap around. I have a submachine gun squad. Now these guys are kind of cool. They use an MP18, which is an old school submachine gun. And you'll notice it's got that massive snail drum on the side. That's what that's called, in case you've never seen one before. With 32 rounds at the ready. Now, this squad here, as you can see from a standing position, yeah, sustained automatic fire is not a thing with this troop. In the prone position, again, it just, it jumps. Now, of course, you're not going to expect a submachine gun squad to be your, be all end all at long range engagements. But I'll be honest, there are some submachine guns I use where I'll mount it myself in a window, and I want to be able to take them out at some distance before they get to a point. Or maybe the submachine gun trooper's the last guy I have left, and I need someone to be able to engage targets a little bit longer. This is not the gun for that. Even trying to control the bursts into little bits, it just jumps everywhere. Now, at close range, that's not going to matter, but in anything beyond like real CQC, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me, and it doesn't have a rate of fire to justify that massive jumping around. There are a few things that I have regret getting in this game, but unfortunately, I hate to say it, this is one of those squads. Um, I have run with them for a while, but I finally gave it up and just opted to use a standard submachine gun squad versus these guys. Will I take them out on occasion? Yeah, sure. If I still want to use them, but they are not going to be a premier squad, and I'm not going to be able to influence the battle nearly as well as my standard submachine gun squad. So I hate to say it, but these guys, unless you are a collector, I would avoid them. All right, let's go to the last theater of combat, and the newest one added to the list. This would be Tunisia. So, Tunisia, I only have, and because it's so new, there's only really one premium squad available at the time. So, we will take them into practice to show you. Not going to lie, these guys have probably quite possibly the coolest hats ever. All right, they come with an Italian submachine gun, the FNAB 43. This thing comes with the 40 round magazine, which is actually almost, I almost want to say it's tradition for Italian submachine guns, minus the M38 variation that you have in Moscow, which only has a 20 round mag. This machine gun here has a slow rate of fire, as you can see there. Now, although that looked controllable, you can see that the gun was not jumping around all that much. If you follow the tracers, it is literally like you are throwing bullets at the enemy. Like, look at this. It looks controllable, but the dispersion on this gun is just ridiculous. I've run with many submachine guns, and almost all of the ones that you have on Tunisia are better than this gun, personally speaking, from a distance standpoint. Now, close range, it's nice and stable, and you can see I'm walking towards the target. What I think makes this gun shine the most for me, and probably one of the reasons why I bring this squad with me, is it is another submachine gun squad with a 40 round magazine, and having the extra ammunition is always a plus for me in a combat scenario. Plus, given the fact that they are one of the few premium squads available right now in the Tunisia campaign, if you're trying to burn through the campaign faster by gaining the additional experience with having this squad, it is worth it to keep them around. But you can do better with the standard squads and the standard submachine guns. Although these guys give you some, I guess, unique characteristics in terms of being able to use this gun on Tunisia, when typically it's only available in Normandy, and it's a low tier weapon at that in Normandy. Having them around, having a submachine gun squad early like this can be a game breaker, in a sense that it gives you a lot of firepower and a lot of ammunition up close and personal in the early stages. But as you advance down the campaign and unlock things like the M1 or the M3842 submachine gun, these guys become obsolete. So if you're burning through the campaign and you're early in it, they're worth a look. But later on, especially once you get down the final stages and once you start unlocking those higher tier submachine guns, they are, I guess, put by the wayside. So I'm going to back out of this. Now, those, like I said, those are just my thoughts and feelings with these guns. This is the first time doing a review through all these premium squads, so I'm sure I screwed up some parts of it somewhere, and maybe I repeated myself a few times. I am still learning after all, but I just wanted to, make a video so I could share it with people who are interested in this game and who are playing it, to get an idea of the premium squads that are available, and, maybe they will find one that works for them. And if this helps in any way, which I hope it does, then it's made it worthwhile. So I'm going to clip this one now, and then I'm going to dive right back into it and get into the combat, because let's face it, that's one of the reasons you play this game. So I will see you guys next time on the battlefield.